Hi, welcome back to a new lesson. So far, we have gone through the IGCSE ICT subject, the introductory video, and then we had the first lesson on digital devices. The second lesson was on peripheral input devices, and today we are going to have the third lesson, lesson 3, and that is on peripheral output devices. If you haven't followed the previous lessons, go to IGCSE ICT playlist and you can follow the previous lessons easily. And please subscribe and click on the bell icon to get the notification so you won't miss any new lessons. There are some practice questions at the end of the lesson, so let's go through the lesson. Hope you remember this screen from our previous lesson. We talked about the first peripheral device category, which is input devices in the previous lesson. And in this lesson today, we learn the second category, which is output devices. Output device is any equipment or hardware which gives out the result of the entered input once it's processed. Output can be in various forms. It could be electronic display, it could be printed sheets or video or audio. And the best examples for output devices like monitors, printers, plotters, multimedia projectors, and speakers likewise. And then the third category is storage devices, and we will learn the storage devices in our next lesson. Okay, the most commonly used output devices, as we discussed in the previous screen, monitors and screens, printers, plotters, multimedia projectors, and so on. So we will go through each of these in detail. Okay, monitors. A monitor, also known as a display or screen, is an output device that visually presents the information generated by a computer or any other electronic devices. It allows users to view the text and images, videos, and graphical user interfaces in a visual format. And monitors use various display technologies, each offering different characteristics in terms of picture quality, color accuracy, the response time, and the size, and all that. Uh, we need to discuss three main features of the monitors, especially when we are going to buy a monitor. We need to consider these. When we refer the screen size of our laptop or the desktop screen, we say it's 14 inches, 15 inches, 17 inches, and etc. Right? So this screen size is taken by measuring the screen diagonally. You can see that in the first picture. We also check the screen resolution. The monitor resolution is like how clearly a monitor can display the visual content. The higher the resolution, the clearer the displays. And resolution is measured in pixels. Resolution refers to the number of pixels a screen can show. The higher the number of pixels a screen can show, the sharper the image is. The baseline full high definition is 1920 into 1080 pixels. Then we also need to know the third feature, the energy efficiency feature in our screens, such as like when we are not using the monitor or our screen, when no inputs are detected, whether it can go to the standby mode, and those features are energy efficiency measures. The most common display technologies include LCD, LED, and OLED. LCD is liquid crystal display, LED is light emitting diode, and OLED is organic light emitting diode. We also have CRT, that is cathode ray tube technology, which we have seen in like very old desktop computers. You can see that in the first picture. And also we have the plasma screens technology. Here you will see a comparison of different monitor technologies. The five types that we mentioned in the previous screen. This is not mentioned in your syllabus, but still it's good to know for your ICT knowledge. So just go through this. Like out of these five types, the last two columns, plasma and CRT, sort of obsolete now, and LED and OLED are trending due to its picture quality and the better technologies. LCD and LED are like lightweight and you can carry on easily. OLED is bit large and bit heavyweight. But the quality wise, LED and OLED are having excellent display. Okay, our next output device is printer. There are three main types of printers that we learn under IGCSE syllabus. Those are inkjet printer, dot matrix printer, and laser printer. And let's see how these printers work. Okay, the dot matrix printer. Those dot matrix printers are also called as impact printers because dot matrix printer print by impacting the paper using a fixed number of pins or wires. Typically, the pins or wires are arranged in one or several vertical columns, and then these pins strike an ink coated ribbon and force contact between the ribbon and the paper so that each pin makes a small dot on the paper. These dot matrix printers are mainly used for printing on multi-part stationery. You can see a small picture in the screen. Multi-part stationery is a paper that is either blank or pre-printed, and it comprising a stack of several copies either on carbonless paper or plain paper and interleaved with carbon paper. Mostly used in factories and shops for receipt printing. Inkjet printer. Inkjet printers use cartridges to store the ink. It has a black ink cartridge and color ink cartridge, and this color ink cartridge has cyan, magenta, and yellow inks in separate containers. And these cartridges then sprays droplets of ink through tiny nozzles onto the page, and these microscopic droplets are precisely arranging to create the images or the text that we are printing. Inkjet is the most commonly used in our homes as it's relatively cheap than the laser printer and also gives a adequate quality. Then we have the laser printer. Laser printers are usually faster and expensive than other printers. Look at the second diagram on how laser printer works. The process is laser printer first read the just see where the papers are feed into the printer and where the papers are coming out, and you can see with the arrow icons. The laser printer first read the electronic data from your computer and then beam this information onto a drum inside the printer, which builds up a pattern of static electricity. And this attracts a dry powder called toner onto the paper, which is then fused using heated rollers. You don't need to remember this diagram. I just added it so that you can see how it works. Laser printers are expensive and like also print faster, and quality is also higher. And due to this, most officers use laser printers. Now let's see the comparison of these three types of printers. We do this comparison in 6 criteria. Okay, so speed wise, dot matrix is the slowest, and inkjet is bit fast, and laser is the fastest. Printer, the cost of the printer, dot matrix is cheap, and laser is expensive, and inkjet is in the middle. Cost per printing for dot matrix is very low, and inkjet is high. The laser, due to its technology, it's medium. And the color printing is mostly not available with dot matrix printers, and we can take color printers using both inkjet and laser. The quality of the printing of dot matrix is very low, and I told we are using it for receipt printing in multi-part stationery, and then inkjet has a high quality, and the laser gives the highest quality. So dot matrix we're using for when we need multiple copies of receipt, and then inkjet we use for home printing because it's reasonable, and then we are using laser for high volume printing, so because of that, and it's expensive and all that, it's mostly used in offices. We talked about three main types of printer types. Now let's see this new printer type, three-dimensional printers, also called as 3D printers. You can see in the video how a shoe is getting printed, and 3D printers use CAD, the computer aided design, to create 3D objects from a variety of materials like molten plastic or powders. And then these 3D printers come in like variety of shapes and sizes, ranging from equipment that can fit on a desk uh, to large construction models used in the making of 3D printed houses. 3D printing allows for the design and print of more complex designs than traditional manufacturing processes. And once you have designed it can be printed anytime. So it gives the advantage that you don't have to, like in other prototyping, you have to create it from the scratch, and if you need another copy, you have to create it from the scratch. But since with 3D printing, once you design it, you can be printed any amount anytime. This shows how a 3D model is being printed in several stages. You can see with the red color arrows how it's been getting printed. While this is good, we also have some disadvantage of 3D printing uh, because it's a high energy consumption. It's not really good for the environment, and also we use plastic for 3D printing, and it also causes environmental damage. Uh, but this 3D printing is mostly used in the construction industry, and also to print artificial limbs. We are using 3D printing. And now we have a printer called multifunction printer. A multifunction printer is a printer that does more than just printing. Multifunction, as the name literally meaning, multifunction, more than one function. So nowadays we have a 3-in-1 printer. We call it as a 3-in-1 printer, where we can print, we also can scan, and we also can photocopy. So it's more suitable for home and small offices, because you can use the multifunction printer for all what you need. Okay, so far we have talked about two main output device types, namely monitor and the printers. Our next output device is data projector. It's an output device that projects computer and TV output onto a white or screen. Uh, and data these projectors are used for like home entertainment, such as watching TV, playing games, or in presentations in classrooms or business meetings. So like how, if we see how this works, let's say like how you can cut up a small hole and put a flashlight inside it to reflect light on a wall that mimics the shape of the hole, right? Likewise, a projector works similarly, but instead of the light going through an open hole, it goes through a lens, and an inverted image is magnified on the wall. In a projector, there are two ways we can zoom. Optical zoom is a function of the lens, allowing you to increase the image optically without distortion or loss of image quality. While the digital zoom, which Simulates optical zoom is a function of the projector allowing you to enlarge a portion of an image. Projectors are portable but mostly mounted to a ceiling, uh, and the projectors are usually expensive, and when you are using the projector in a larger area, uh, you need a brighter bulb which is more expensive than the usual ones. And projectors also get overheat when you use it for a longer duration. Next, we have the output device called interactive whiteboard. And interactive whiteboard, also called as IWB or also called as smartboard, is a large interactive display board. And these interactive digital boards are widely used in education, and these board acts as an input and also output device, because you can give the input, also you get the output through the smart board. And interactive whiteboard allows makes the life easy of teachers or colleagues, and it allows you to engage with the information being discussed. You can files can be easily shared or accessed or edited and saved all in one interactive whiteboard. Next, we have the output device plotter. Plotter is an output device that used to print large size technical drawings and graphs. As shown in this picture in the screen, therefore plotters are used by civil engineers and architects who worked with computer aided design software. Next, we have the speakers. The speakers are also a widely used output device. Speakers can be internal or it could be external, and speakers can be wired or wireless that uses Bluetooth, and wireless headsets use Bluetooth and can be more convenient, right, rather than having cables going around. And when the sound comes from a single speaker, we call it as mono sound. And when the sound comes from two sides, left and right, we call it as stereo sound. When multiple speakers are used, we get surround sound. And we use surround sound in home theater systems, TV programs. So, as special purpose output devices, let's see what those are. As the technology develops, everyone starts using digital devices, and digital devices becomes something that we cannot live without. So we need to make sure these technologies are equally or at least as much as available for differently able people as well. So there are special purpose output devices to support them. Uh, these are not mentioned into IGCSE textbook, but it is expected you to know these by using the internet to learn, because there have been questions in past papers around this information. So there are some examples I have mentioned in the screen. There are braille printers for blind people. So once it's printed, they can use the fingers to read what's on the paper. And when you are developing the websites, we can read out the text in the website, and also we can add description for images. So when the page loads, the text and is read out to the user, and image descriptions also read out so that they can hear. And there are monitors that can be adjusted with large font size, screen resolution, and contrast setting. So they can adjust the monitors that is suitable for their abilities. And okay, with this, with this we are done with the digital output devices lesson. And let's do some private practice questions so that you are much prepared for your exams. Right. Uh, State two features that you should look at when selecting monitors. We discussed three features actually, and one is screen size measured by using inches diagonally, and then we discuss about the monitor feature resolution. Uh, the higher the resolution, higher the picture quality, and then we also discuss whether the monitor is equipped with energy efficiency features. Number two, state three types of monitors. We discussed about CRT monitor, LCD monitor, LED monitor, OLED monitors. And then the third one, briefly describe the printing mechanisms of the following printers. I have forgot to mention what printers are now, but we discuss mainly three printers: Inkjet, dot matrix, and the laser. So let's see how these printers work in briefly. Dot matrix, printing head with tiny pins, strike an ink ribbon and then paper to create characters. We also call this as impact printer. Then inkjet, it sprays tiny ink bubbles through a nozzle onto the paper line by line. And then how laser works. A laser printer first read the electronic data from your computer and then beam this information onto a drum inside the printer, which builds up a pattern of static electricity. This attracts a dry powder called toner inside the printer onto the paper, which is then fused using heated rollers. Number four, what printer is capable of doing multi-part printing, that is dot matrix. Number five, give two uses of 3D printers. 3D printers are used to print 3D models and artificial limbs. Number six, write two disadvantages of 3D printers. We mentioned 3D printers uses a lot of high energy consumption, and then the plastic that is used for printing can cause environmental damage. Number seven, state and application of plotters. Plotters used to print large maps and technical drawings, that is uh, developed using computer-aided design, and because of this, lot of civil engineers and architects use plotters to print. Okay, this is a question that I took from 2014 June paper. Then this is an easy one. Uh, there are some devices given in a table, and you need to mark whether it's an input, output, or both, or storage device. Okay, let's go through. The touch screen, it's an input and output device, right? The third column, you need to take the third column. And then a mouse is input only. CD-ROM is storage device. And our next lesson is on media and storage devices, so you will learn on that in the next lesson. Next we have the keyboard, it's an input only. Speaker is output only. Webcam is input only. John uses his PC to draw designs for gardens. Identify one additional input device that John could use to draw his designs. We learned that graphic tablet can be used for this purpose in our previous lesson. John could use the stylus to draw designs in his graphic tablet. This is from 2016 June paper. Access to computer room is controlled by biometric scanners. Identify one biometric that can be scanned. We learn few of the biometrics that we can use. It could be either fingerprint or thumbprint, or it could be your retinal, or it could be your face recognition, it could be your palm print, it could be voice recognition. So it has given only one mark, so you can write one of those. But you need to remember it when if you write finger, it won't give you any marks. It should be fingerprint. And then second one, give one benefit of using a biometric scanner to gain access to the rooms. Benefits could be the users do not need to carry their ID, or they don't have to remember the password and etc. That's a benefit. And also uh, nobody can hack and get your biometrics because it's with you, and if it is a password, people, others can hack and get it. uh, Third one, give one possible drawback of using a biometric scanner to gain access to the rooms. uh, Sometimes technology is not always accurate. If you let's say a fingerprint, if you put it in a different angle, it might not work, and there could be system failures so that you won't be able to access with your biometrics. And then let's say your some injury could have happened to your eye. It could be your retina, or it could be your fingerprint, or uh, injuries could can happen, and it could prevent you accessing with your biometrics. Okay, this is the last question. What are the pros and cons of using biometric scanners? The same thing that we just discussed. So the advantages are it is easy for users as password may forgotten, but biometrics data cannot be forgotten. And then biometrics cannot hack and get the details. Hackers cannot hack and get the details. Biometrics can also, like, let's say you use your biometrics to access something or to do some transactions. It's faster with the biometrics than using the password or two-way authentication or etc., which takes time. And biometrics are not language dependent. That is also an advantage. There are some disadvantages as well. Privacy and security concerns are there because your biometric data is stored electronically somewhere in a backend, so that is a risk. And biometric scanners and this implementation is costly, and also some people find it uncomfortable to go through biometric scanners, so that is also a disadvantage. Okay, so with this, we conclude the lesson number 3, that is on output devices, and our next lesson is on media and storage devices. So until then, good luck with your studies, and thank you.